Hey everybody, this is Todd.
And I'm Jill.
And welcome to the Soulful Creator Podcast.
You ready? Should we sing?
Are we going to sing?
Do you want to?
Yeah. Welcome back, by the way. We're going to sing a little song for you. We're on. We had our last episode was about
This
dating,
is juicy.
Dating,
It's really juicy.
Dating at 50.
Ready?
Okay.
Let's talk about sex, baby. Let's talk about you and me. Okay. We are so cheesy, and our kids are going to hate us for doing that.
We are talking about sex today.
We are
soulful
sex.
Soulful sex.
Soulful.
So again, I'm going to be just I'm along for the ride, okay? As Jill
Poor
is
soul.
Poor human. I'm the human, she's the soul.
I'm soul.
So we're going to have a really awesome, so again, disclaimer for the kids. If you
don't watch this one.
Don't watch this one, okay? So, all right, so we're going to talk about
your picker
being broken.
Your picker.
As far as date people, right? So Jill, I'm just going to say take it away because she's just going to, and I'm going to, again, I'm going
to rock your world, baby.
I'll chime in when I have something to say.
All right, you guys, here's where it all started for me, okay? All right, after I got divorced, I hired a coach, and his name was Bob.
Coach Bob.
Coach Bob. And for $100, my advice that I was told was that I needed to fix my picker. And he said, you know, Jill, he said, you need to stop dating. And I'm like, wait a second. I'm lonely. I'm scared. I want friends. I want fun. And he said, yeah, but you have been playing for how long now and getting nowhere. And he was basically saying, you're not sitting with the pain. The pain needs to teach you something, and you're not sitting with it. So I thought, are you kidding me? I paid you $100 and you're telling me not to date. I'm like, that really freaking sucks. You know?
I'm not sure that's good advice, but
no.
At the time, right?
You know, it was really hard. But you know, I did take his advice, and I said to him, wait a second. Okay, are you saying I can't have sex? Or are you saying I can't date? And I thought, you know, I get to be the director of my universe, right? I'm the creator of my universe. And so I get to decide what the rules are of my game, okay? And so I decided, you know what, I'm going to allow myself to date, but my rule is, and this can get so confusing. Sex can be so confusing when you're older like us, because you've had a world of religion and you may or may not be relating with that religion anymore. And you're an adult and you don't have, you know, my parents aren't with me anymore other than, you know, living through me, but I get to make the decisions for me of what's good for Jill. And so I decided I am not going to have sex with anybody unless I love them. That was my rule. And so it came down to the point that I wanted to be real with myself about what love was. And, you know, I had had a lot of soulmates, and I call them lovers or soulmates, come in and out of my world and teach me things that I either, you know, it was either what was aligned with love or what was not aligned with love. And I realized that, you know, if I was with someone and we got intimate and then they were not there the next day, then I thought that was fun last night. That was crazy. And it was crazy super fun. But was that really healthy for me if I'm waking up alone the next morning and I don't have anyone to spend the weekend with, right? It doesn't matter how great the date is on Friday night if you spend Saturday and Sunday alone, right?
Right.
Been in that position?
No, I'm not.
No,
but
he's a newbie.
I'm a newbie, okay? All right.
So I think the point was that what I needed to learn from my pain and what Bob was trying to say was, you know, be careful about, you know, who you are allowing to get to know you at the deepest level. Because that's a vulnerable place to be. And if I really, really know my soul's worth, right, then I'm not just going to be allowing others to use and abuse me. And that means that I have to play by those same rules, that I don't use and abuse others. And that's when I had to start really getting accountable for what kind of guys I was dating. And, Bob said something really interesting to me is he said, are you still attracted to your husband, your ex-husband? And I said, yeah, I'll always be attracted to him. He's hot. And he said, as long as you're attracted to him, you're still, you haven't fixed your picker. You're still broken. And I thought, wow, that one was really, really, really hard to swallow. My ex had hurt me like nobody else. And yet I was still attracted to him. And I didn't want to be attracted to him. So how in the world do I change that, right? And that's part of what we're talking about when we talk about sex and we talk about energy and sexual creative energies and what that means for, two souls to be drawn together through the creative process, which is your solar plexus and your sacral chakra is your confidence center and your creative center, and bringing those together in a co-creative dance, in this playful energy of how can we play off of each other and learn about our souls. And that's really what soulful sex is all about.
Right. So those who are out there, again, who might have been in this rut of maybe there's some who jump into bed quickly, right? Why is that? Why is it because is it self-worth? Is it maybe someone that they are just feeling lonely? I mean, what are the reasons why people make those mistakes?
And I want to say, I have heard, all kinds of things. I've heard men say, well, if she doesn't give it up, on the first or second date, then I'm not dating her again because she's not worth me investing my money in that anymore.
Right.
I've heard girls say, well, I have sex with him on the first date because I'm lonely and I want to hook him, right? Women want to hook men.
Yeah.
And especially in Utah, you have some divorcees that are just overwhelmed with life. And what they're wanting is a life partner, but they use sex to be able to attract a life partner, at least initially in the honeymoon phase. That's what they do.
Right.
So it's all over the place. And that's not even bringing into the picture all the confusion around, if you have a religious belief and what your beliefs are in God. We all have a little bit of a different belief system because we all have a different relationship with God. We're all learning about our relationship with God through our own soul. And we're at different places, which, is fine. We all learn at different, in the divine time that we're supposed to be learning. God gives us as much time as we need to learn this stuff while we're here.
Right. So I'm sure that you have received a lot of texts from past boyfriends, or let's say guys you dated and you've given them your number. So
yes, and I've grown a lot, you guys.
Yes.
I have. So I'm not super proud of myself. What I will say is that when I first was divorced, and I don't know if many of you know this about me, but I got married at a really, really early age because I got pregnant when I was a teenager. And so not to blame anybody, I was on birth control, but my parents ended up taking that and I didn't have the confidence or worth to say no. So I ended up pregnant. And so what that means, and the reason why I bring that up isn't because I want to bring up my dirty past. There's a point here. What that means is that because I got married and went from marriage to marriage, so I was pretty much married from age 16 to like 45. And then all of a sudden I was single and I didn't know what to do with myself. What happened was I reverted back to the old child Jill that was experimenting with sex and had no idea about my worth.
Well, you never had the chance when you were younger, to really date, right?
To really even be dated by somebody that, my second marriage I did, But the point is that I really hadn't learned the lessons of self-worth. I hadn't really come to terms and reunited and, reclaimed my soul's worth. I hadn't done that work yet. And so what happened was that showed when, as I went through the divorce, I went back to what I knew, which was my 16-year-old behavior, right?
Yeah.
And I had a lot of catch-up work to do, to do that soul work, to figure out what my soul to really understand my soul's worth and value. And what I will say is that what I've witnessed through the dating process time and time again, and maybe you can add some story to this, is it's just huge that if you use and abuse others, they will use and abuse you. And it's, the only people that use and abuse others are the people that, like, if you have a doormat, and if it's okay to put dirty shoes on that doormat and you let them put their dirty shoes on you, then you're always going to be used as a doormat. And I remember that story being told to me, and I thought, am I really doing that? Because I thought, I want connection. I want physical touch. I don't want to be lonely. I was yearning for something, but I didn't know exactly where that boundary should be for myself. And I was trying to figure out who I was and, and what was good for me and what I was attracted to.
Yeah. So when people get those texts, and say, hey, how you doing? We kind of said that it's kind of like the menu item, right? It's like they order, hey, we're going to have, let's go to a dinner, let's have a movie, and let's have sex afterward. So
yes, this
right?
did happen to me.
So this is the part when you talk about, that's their experience, and so they think that that's exactly what's going to happen.
Yeah, and so,
right?
some men are so bold that, if I've dated them once or whatever, it's been a year since I've seen
Bad
them.
move, guys. Don't ever do that.
And then all of a sudden I get a random text and they're like,
Yeah.
do you want to hang out? And I'm like, sure. I love everybody. I'm a lover. I'll hang out with you, sure. And so I'm like, what do you want to do? Do you want to go to a movie or dinner or go for a walk or whatever? And I'm like, yeah, let's do that. And then I think we should have sex because it was hot. And I'm like, you think that? And I just was like, okay, well, so my response was, I'm not in a position to have sex with you. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
And then I happened to go onto social media and see that particular person was in a relationship. And so I put a little heart saying, I'm happy you have a girlfriend.
Karma.
And the next thing you know, I get a text from this guy saying, I'm so sorry. I'm so embarrassed. I shouldn't have done that. I shouldn't have said that to you. I'm going to hurt my girlfriend. And I would never want to hurt my girlfriend because that's what my old girlfriend did to me. But there was no apologies to how he treated me. There was no apology to, like, I'm sorry I was treating you as if you were an order of fries on the menu. I'd like to order some fries, please. I mean, I'm a lot more than just an order of fries. You can't just order me and have me show up like that. And so, for women, what we need to be reminded of is, yes, our sexual energy that we have as a woman, because we're creators, we have a womb, we hold that desire and that creative energy and that sexual, creative energy. Men pick up on that, but we have to recognize the value and worth in that, and that is actually sacred stuff.
That's right.
If we're going to co-create, if we're going to be in a co-creative process of what can we do with our lives to learn from each other and become our best, that isn't in the best interest for you to just be giving sex away like it's like you're, a hamburger and fries.
That's right.
To be eaten. Not
right.
literally. I really didn't say that. Did I say that?
Fries.
Okay, erase that.
Not a combo meal.
gosh.
Not a combo meal. Just ordering fries with that. Okay. So this kind of leads into our why we're calling it "Why Does Attraction Change?" And again, when you were at that moment, and again, usually it's when you have certain behavior like that, it's going to show up later, right? Like it's if
Right.
that's their experience with you in the past, then they're going to think that's what they're going to get in the future, right? But as we do our work and we kind of have a different lens, right?
Right.
We kind of see people through different lenses, and we had an experience where we were kind of going through Facebook and just seeing certain. I'm like, hey, who's this guy? And he's like, and we were just like, oh, this is a guy I dated, and then she's like, oh my goodness, he does not. I thought
He was so hot, and he's
so
not
cute.
hot anymore.
Yeah, I'm like, what is going on? And we'd see another person and I'm like, okay, I'm not impressed with these guys. I mean, come on,
And it was as I kind of came into myself and into my queendom, as I rebuilt the foundation of my worth based on real love, I no longer found that illusion of love attractive. I don't want a guy to tell me the right words, the words that I want to hear. I want him to show me through his character of being, his posture, through his energy. I want to see that he's a king. I want to see how he shows up. I want to see that he's dependable. I want to see that he's consistent. I want to see that he's passionate and that he's on his journey and not just trying to hook me to solve his problems, right?
Right. So it's kind of like I talked to you about maybe the lens, like where we're seeing it through, and so we have this glasses on, and we say, "Ooh, this person is so attractive," but then over time, just like when we get old and we have to have prescription glasses, right? We see them differently, and we're like, and our attraction changes, right, to someone who maybe we weren't attracted to before in the beginning, but now they.
And that's true too, because when Todd and I met, I looked the worst I've ever looked. I had this skin issue from a breakup. I call it the holes in my head, whatever, scars my Harry Potter scar, whatever. And I thought to myself, I know this stuff. I know my worth. I am not going to let this stupid scar on my forehead stop me from having fun and enjoying life. Right. So when I met Todd, I'm like, what did I say to you on the first thing when I met you about my forehead?
You said, this is going to be gone in a couple weeks.
I'm like, just forget this thing. Pretend it doesn't exist. Because this has nothing to do with who I am,
Right.
And
I did not see anything. I mean, it's funny, if you know Jill, people don't, I'm like, I don't see anything, but I know how these things are with.
And when you walked away from our first date, we spent about 15 minutes together at Corner Bakery.
15 minutes? It was more like an hour.
Okay, fine. I talk a lot.
Did you forget about that?
Oh, shoot. I do talk a lot. Sorry.
It was an hour.
But you walked
okay,
away from it.
I talked for the 15 minutes. You talked, you're more 45.
So, but what did you think after our first date?
I told her at the very end, I said, there's something about you. There's there's a magnetism there that I cannot even, I was dumbfounded. I'm like, there's something different about this person.
Well, and when I went into it, I said, okay, just so you know, I'm not looking for a husband. I'm not looking for an intimate partnership. I'm just looking for a friend. Honestly, I just need a friend. I just really want to have fun. And I'm actually a pretty cool chick. So if you want to hang out with me, I'd love to do that. If not, no big deal. And that's exactly what I said.
Yeah. So I'm like,
and he wasn't even my type. Like he wasn't. And
See?
So that's the other thing is about the perception is, my type has always been tall, dark, and narcissistic.
Okay. She almost said handsome there.
And that was my type. And
okay.
I was like, this guy's cool. And,
right.
I knew that he was an editor and that I needed some help. And when we started to play around with the potential of doing a project together, we started to really have fun together. And I think through that energy of those energies fitting so nicely together in this beautiful dance, I was able to really start to be attracted to someone, to look more than, look past their skin, right? To go beyond the skin, to see the soul,
I'm
to see who
take
Todd
that
is.
as a compliment.
It is, but he is beautiful anyways.
Right.
But
she was really attracted to this.
But what
should I say?
here's the thing. Girls are funny. We are. Yeah. We're odd, and we get used to a certain look of what we were married to or what the relationship that we were with. And if there's anything different whatsoever, when you get in our bubble, it's like, I don't know if I want those lips on me. I don't know if I want that much hair next to my face. Or whatever. I actually love Toddy Bear. That's what I call him. But I like his hair.
Okay, there's the nickname. It is out. Toddy Bear.
So,
yes.
But my point is that we get uncomfortable. We get used to a certain type of individual, the way that they look, the way that and we get used to the way people treat us. Like, if you're married to a narcissist and you're used to being ignored, then you might attract someone to do that same thing, right? Which often reflects the father issues that you had, right? So the parental issues that were unhealed is what I'm saying. You recreate that stuff because you haven't healed it. So for me, to get to the point where I didn't care about the scar on my face, I knew that I knew what the soulful journey was all about, what it was like to embody the energy of real love. Yeah. And I thought, I'm not going to be, and the way the soulful journey is, you can't have attachments to expectations, or you can't think that someone else is going to be your hero and solve your problems and rescue you. Right. So I was just simply going out to having a connection with someone and play, kind of like it was when we were 25.
That's right.
And that's what's different about this relationship versus some of the other relationships that I've had.
No, we started, and that's, I think, one of the best things we started out as friends, right? Mm-hmm. And I think that's what at least going forward, and then is me learning, and I'm not much of the discussion today. It's just about Jill mostly.
Whatever.
But it's about.
Please take it over and tell us about sex from a male perspective. I've always been wanting to know.
It isn't about the one night stands and because there's a lot of people that do that, right? It's like, but it's been something that love and connection are the bedrocks to a good relationship and good sex, right? It's
right.
And true. That's short and sweet, but that's kind of.
And I will say that, this last year, I've been in a much healthier position, making much healthier choices, taking my time. Todd and I talked about not having sex, from the beginning for a while. We're like, hey, we're going to establish a friendship. We're going to see what this is. Is this a passion project partner, or is this, or is this an actual intimate relationship? And we're going to take our time with that. We're going to decide if we like each other. We're going to see if we like hanging around with each other first. Like, how much are we drawn to spend time together, right? And we're still exploring that. We do spend quite a bit of time together, and we have a lot of fun together. A lot of our journey's been about playing. But it's been very different. It's not based on sex. And I think that's the big point, is realizing that at this point, there are so many pleasures of life. Right? There's great food. We went to a great restaurant the other night. Mm-hmm. There's great music. There's, inspirational people that we want to socialize with. There's so many different life experiences. We don't need to wrap it all into one thing that controls us. Right. And being able to rise above sex and not have it control you, but have it be more like an icing on the cake thing, is where the power comes from, the power center. That's soulful creation. Is really understanding your worth and enjoying the entire dating process. You said to me, do you remember what you said to me? You said, Jill, this was so beautiful. He said, I am in this for the long haul. See? He said, I am courting you. Yes. I am courting you. And we did get into a discussion one time. So he said, well, how long do you want to wait? And I'm like, as long as it takes, which was a hard discussion for us to have. But we've had some hard discussions, and I think because we understand the soulful journey, we try to practice that, living authentically, making healthy choices, having healthy boundaries, knowing when and when. Like, even still, if one of us started dating someone else, we've discussed, if one of us starts dating someone else, we're not going to be intimate, because that would hurt the other person as well as each other. So having this accountability for the actions that you take and what kind of an effect it has on others. And it's not always easy to live that way.
Yeah. No, it's some people might say that's a strange relationship. Like you have where, we're not tied to the outcome. Mm-mm. And we're taking it one day at a time. Mm-hmm. And it is the long game, right? And I think that's what makes, intimacy a lot more effective and more pleasurable, because it's like I'm learning so much more about her, and then it's just a lot better because I'm getting to know her. I'm retracing the steps that she did on her whole spiritual journey. I'm learning about her. I'm learning all of the things that you should in a relationship. It's somewhat like you are when you're younger, right? You are getting to know them first. It's not like you're just hopping into bed and going that way. It's like it's learning. That's what the connection comes from. It's from learning about.
And I think the important thing to just emphasize here is that there's two parts of yourself. Remember, the human and the soul, right?
Played by me. Soul.
Hugh. Soul. Yes. We don't know if my name's Saul or Soul. We haven't figured it out yet. You guys can tell us what you think. But the point is that we're having a physical experience, and we're having an etherical experience of emotion and energy and truth, right? Bringing that through the physical expression, through the body. And then it means so much more when I love you as a soul than just going through the act, right? Just the mechanical act. That means nothing. And I think, after 50, it can even be more challenging, and you have to be more patient with one another and more understanding and more vulnerable, and you have to be more accepting of the body and the body aging and, your limitations. And And it ends up being more of this beautiful exchange. I love the infinity symbol because I feel like that is the symbol of the rhythm of balancing the human part, and there's two circles that come together, and we bring down the soulful experience, represents the top circle, into the bottom circle, which is the grounded experience on the earth, right? And those when they fold over together are a reflection of each other. And so we're bringing this truth down into our physical realm to be able to have an experience of our greatness and our truth and our beauty. And that's from a soulful perspective, from soulful creation. That's what soulful sex is that co-creative, safe, beautiful dance of two souls having a healthy connection,
right,
and exploring their beauty and truth together. And it's very, very different than what I thought sex was at 16. At 16, I thought sex equaled love, and it's taken me a long time, 30 years or so, to really figure out what real love is. And sex is, what did you say before we were starting this? I said, what would a man say about sex? Sex is sacred. It's sacred.
I forgot. I'm just here. I'm eye candy. That's it. Okay.
So it's a sacred experience that you shouldn't share with just everybody, and everybody's different. And there are souls out there that are on the playground and have bazillions of partners and have open relationships. And if that's what you want to have, and you want to have that experience, and that is a safe, honest place and a reflection of your soul, then have that experience, right? But for some of us that realize, for me, because I've had girlfriends, soulmates that I thought were girlfriends, actually go after my ex-husband. So I'm like, I'm really careful about the soulmates that I choose to have in my life now. I have really healthy boundaries, and I don't bring people in. In my queendom, the gate doesn't come down for you unless I know that you're safe. And that's
right.
My power. That comes from me knowing my worth as a queen.
Perfect.
Anything you want to say on behalf of being a king and having sex?
It's about connection, guys. I think that it's not, as I've said this before, it's just not the, take them out, send them a text saying, I want to have, sex.
Blankety blank you.
Yeah, I don't want to have dinner and then here's my menu item for sex. No, it's about friendship. It's about getting to know your significant other and learning all about them.
And treating them like a queen.
And treating them like a queen, exactly.
Right.
Because there's a lot you can learn from that maybe you didn't learn in your previous experiences, in your previous marriages, of how to, because again, this is all new, right? We're courting for this, well, for me, the second time in my life, and it's a lot different. It's a lot different than it was before, so.
And treating your queen means understanding that there's a sacred soul underneath that beautiful body.
That's right.
And that the actions that you take and the energy that you embody matter and affect more than just yourself. So it's about being responsible and accountable. And with that said, I think we're done with the 3-letter word.
Woo! Well, we might revisit. Who knows? We gotta
go have some soulful sex.
There we go. I have nothing else to add. She said it all. All right? Are we done? Okay.
Amen.
Thanks for joining us.